It's an entirely new type of racetrack for the Law Tigers Arizona Super TT, presented by Ride Now Power Sports. Round 4 of the American Flat Track Championship. We're going to open it up with a variety of obstacles.
Flat track motorcycle racing. Just to recall what it was like in the beginning, let us take a quick look back at the turn of the century. It takes stout lads like them to go for this kind of competition. It's trials like this that have made the two-wheel little giant the tough piece of mechanism it is today. Take a look at this motorcycle.
Each of today's races draws large crowds from all over the country.
It's a revolution.
Testing and bettering, testing and perfecting. Right on, cowboy.
The wave of the future.
Got a good start anyway.
Yeah, and we'll see how hot I was the whole time.
Every chance I get to race now, I enjoy it.
What will you do? How hard are you willing to go? Will you let fear win? Or will you rise?
Big one for Jared Mees.
And find victory.
Shayna Hexter takes the win.
It changes the way we look at racing.
Three different racetracks through the first 3 rounds this year, and Briar Bauman has tamed them all with podiums and the points lead. But his return to the TT opened the door for JD Beach and Estenson Yamaha to get their first ever victory. The TTs are always good for Henry Wiles, who was on the podium at our TT earlier in the year in Daytona. In singles, Ryan Wells looking to bounce back on his Yamaha after a tough start to this season. But Dalton Gauthier has handled every challenge thrown his way in a comeback season, and he leads the points in that division. But you have to watch out for the wild cards like Ryan Sipes, who has a motocross and supercross background, which could come in handy today. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant joined by AJ Allmendinger here in the booth. They call it the Super TT. Kristen Beat, why?
Thanks, Jason. The TT is certainly earning its name. 0.6 of a mile. On average, we're looking at 42nd lap times. And on top of that, the start is even creating some excitement. Here's what I mean. These guys are dropping down into turn 1 from elevation. They'll start in first, probably work their way into third. Managing that momentum and that speed into turn 1 is going to be critical, especially off the start. On top of that, there's a right-handed turn, and these guys are using the front brake. A lot for these riders to manage, and it should reflect in the racing.
Yeah, Super TT, more jumps, higher speeds than we normally see in a TT, so this could get wild.
Yeah, 0.6 of a mile. The biggest difference into turn 1, it's about 18 to 20 degrees of banking. These corners are super fast. Unlike any other TT that we have, the speeds that these riders are going to be carrying through all these corners is going to be massive.
This track you usually use for off-road truck racing, a new style of racetrack that we have not ever seen in American flat track. So there's Kristen's update. You heard AJ weigh in. Let's ask the riders what they think.
It's definitely different than majority of the TTs we've ever raced, just because of all the banking in the turns. Every corner has a little bit of banking, if not a lot of banking.
Super TT looks really good. Big turns, just looks very free-flowing. I'm ready just to get out there and just let her all hang out.
The track should be really fast. The jumps are pretty big, but they don't have too big of takeoffs, so we shouldn't be getting too much air. Should be just perfect for all our speeds that we're getting.
It's got more jumps than we've ever had before in a TT track. It's gonna be fun.
I'm a big motocross guy and everything like that, so I think all the jumps and everything like that is going to separate a lot of guys. I think it's going to be all in all a cool experience for everyone in the pit area, all the fans, to see something different.
I think it's going to be awesome to be able to run multiple lines instead of just going around riding behind somebody in one big line.
What I'm excited about is I think this is just like amping the sport up to another level, and there's tracks like this all over the U.S., so if we can get comfortable in these places and figure out how to get the dirt right and stuff, I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be big and fast, and I'm excited to get it on this weekend.
It's the AFT Twins class presented by Vance and Hines. Here are the point standings.
Briar Bauman been super consistent on that Factory Indian team, but he's got to watch out for his teammate Jared Mees, coming off of that victory in Texas.
All right, Bauman, can he hold him off? Let's check in with Kristen.
Briar Bauman enters round 4 with a 9-point lead over second. And Briar, you've emerged as the guy to beat. You're a threat to win this championship. Has the pressure and expectations kind of changed and shifted now that you've emerged as such a leader in this series?
Yeah, actually a little bit. Leaving Daytona, it was kind of like, well, it's the first round. That's just how it works. You won the first race, so you're leading the points. But now we've gone through a couple races, and I'm still kind of up in the mix and leading the points. It changes things quite a bit. The competition's really, really stiff. Jared's firing on all the cylinders at this point, and Brandon Robinson's riding really well. So just the way I go about it has changed a little bit for sure. But at the end of the day, we just got to do our job and ride to the best of our abilities, and I think we'll be okay.
You won the first race this season at the Daytona TT. Is there any carryover confidence knowing that your bike and your setup for this season is so good on these TT tracks?
Yeah, big time. I think that we have a great package for the TTs, and I think that I'm a pretty good TT rider myself, so this track's a lot different than everything we're used to. My ability to adapt hopefully can play into that a little bit and maybe better than the next guy, so I think the confidence is flowing just all the way around. I did pretty well on 2 racetracks, the last 2 races that I didn't really expect to do that well on. They're not really my strong suit, and we're kind of back to my cup of tea, so hopefully that plays in tonight and we can use it for a win.
So here are the storylines, highlights of qualifying from earlier. Great start for Bauman here on the 14, but watch the shooting up the middle style of the 95.
JD Beach into second. Briar Bauman, fastest qualifier, been quick all night. But these two are going to battle it out going into the main event.
And Beach needs a rebound. He was very quick in our opening round TT at Daytona, but then he crashed and qualified for the main. This is much better. He finishes second. He's going to the big show, although he's going to have to figure out Bauman for the main. There he results 8 riders going to the main event out of that one. Now look at this. Briar getting notes and exchanging with his brother Bronson, who's his teammate here in Semi 2. Bad news for Sammy Halbert, who goes down early.
Yeah, Sammy Halbert gets into the corner here as we see the replay. Gets in the loose dirt, slides the rear, hits a rut, loses the back end, the front tucks, he goes down. He's gonna have to use a provisional to get it in the main event tonight.
Yeah, everyone gets one, and since Sammy's been strong in the points so far this year, he doesn't want to lose ground tonight. As for the battle for the win, Jared Mees just able to hold off the TT specialist Henry Wiles. Jeffrey Carver just ahead of Bronson Bauman here for third. Bauman taking the notes from his brother. So the field is set. Bauman, Beach, Mees, Wiles, some of the big hitters that'll be in our AFT Twins main event later tonight. We transition to the singles class, a tough start to this season for the 2016 singles champ Ryan Wells. We'll talk to him about that as he prepares for a home race for his Estenson Yamaha team. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. If you go down, call Russ Brown. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. There's the Roof Systems AFT Singles class point standings. Dalton Gauthier strong so far.
He hasn't shown a weakness at any type of racetrack. The Super TT here, he's been quick all night. I look for another battle going for the win.
And one rider you don't see in the top 10 here, Ryan Wells, 2016 Series champ, runner-up last year. It's been a struggle so far in 2019, but maybe the Super TT is where he can get it back on track.
I started talking to Ryan well over a year ago, and I said, Ryan, are you open to coming to Arizona? Are you openly willing to commit to the Estenson Racing program? And I really liked what I heard. You know, Ryan, since he was 3 years old, has been riding a motorcycle, and it is how he focuses for his future. There isn't a backup plan for Ryan right now. This is it. The expectations, really are quite high.
My season so far has definitely not started off the way I expected. Have there been some things that have not met my expectations? Yeah, but I still think as a rider I should be able to overcome them. I think a lot of it could have been caused by the pressure that I put on myself to do so well with this awesome team that I have this year. If I just go out there and ride a motorcycle and have fun, I think it's going to improve my results a bunch.
Being here in Arizona is probably the most exciting part because this track, it's totally different.
To be here at a home race, the shop's right down the road. So, I just hope we put on a good show and, can get up there and get some good results.
And we have that quality rider that can really produce on the tracks like we're going to see today. So I have very high hopes of finishing well.
I try to go into every race pretty optimistic, but I definitely feel good, especially knowing that I'm one of the only people that have ridden this track throughout the winter, living out here. I think this is less of a technical TT and more of a go for it all, wide open TT, so I think that'll suit me pretty well.
My hope here in our hometown today with Ryan is that we're restarting the season, and he feels really good going into today. And I do expect Ryan to be, perform quite well.
I think a lot of people have lost faith in me, but I know I will win. Once we get going here, people are going to have their hands full with us as a team. I know, it's not even a question in my head. I will win some races this year and hopefully still make a bid for this championship.
Here are qualifying highlights in our AFT Singles storylines. The TT specialist, Jesse Janisch, able to get around Tanner Dean on the number 38 Honda. Janisch puts his Yamaha to the number 1 spot.
Always strong on the TTs, Jesse Janisch. But we see here, Ryan Wells had got around Tanner Dean, almost runs down Jesse Janisch for the win.
That's a confidence-inspiring run for Wells to get up there and battle Janisch for the victory. Mikey Rush on the Honda taking 3rd. And the action turn 1, claims a couple more here in Semi 2. Play everyone up and okay. It's actually 2 separate incidents by himself. Zabala on the 51 goes down. Then Christian Spurgeon and Hunter Evan look at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, all 3 go down. Luckily, everybody okay, but the trio would not make the main event.
Up front, Ryan Sipes, Mr. Everything, off-road, motocross, supercross, and yes, TT up front. But Dalton Gauthier, series points leader, a big challenge. Sipes doesn't want to give it up around the outside. Great racing.
Remember, this is just the semi. This isn't the main event. We can see these 2 battling. These 2 are going to be strong all night.
And Andrew Luker lurking in 3rd. Good to see Sipes in the mix. He's kind of a wild card when you get to these TT events. For more on that, let's send it to Kristen.
Thanks, Jason. Earlier in the day, when I spoke with Ryan Sipes, he told me one of the biggest obstacles that he's facing tonight is kind of counteracting that moto intuitiveness that he's developed throughout the years of motocross and supercross racing. His style is to cut the corners a little short, so he's learning to take the corners wider to create more flow and momentum on this track, especially in turns 1 and 4. When I just spoke with him a second ago, he told me that moving into this main event, he is really kind of focused on following the riders in front of him, learning from them. In the previous semi, he followed behind Dalton Gauthier and kind of learned what he was doing, took a few notes. We'll see if Ryan Sipes can put it together here in the main event.
Well, thanks, Kristen. Sipes, a former pro in motocross. Mikey Rush, though, rides a lot of moto. He's happy on his Richie Morris Racing Honda. And there's Gauthier, who nearly won our opener at Daytona, which was a TT, so you know he can ride this track well. But the guy that won at Daytona is Jesse Janisch. He also won our last TT of 2018, so kind of a win streak. Sir Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys starting lineup. Janisch with the good spot. Gauthier won the other semi, but I don't know what's going to happen on this crazy racetrack.
Yeah, and Dan Bromley's just been consistent all year. Hasn't shown a ton of speed. Starting 10th, see if he can get to the front.
And his teammate Shayna Texter on the Red Bull KTM did not qualify for the main event, so it gives you an idea of how this racetrack has affected the racing already. There's Ryan Wells focused on the Whelen starting lights, and we are underway. This first turn has been treacherous. Jesse Janisch around the outside, making it work. Sipes is right there down to the inside, and Gauthier takes over second on the 122.
That's not what the rest of the field wants to see. Jesse Janisch to the lead.
Oh,
we got contact.
Field definitely doesn't want to see that. No, I don't see any red flags. Looks like everyone's okay. Yep, they're getting back on their motorcycles. Yeah, but as you mentioned, Janisch, we know he's fast on TTs. You give him the start like this, it's going to be rough. Let's see what Gauthier or Sipes has for him in 2nd and 3rd.
Ryan Wells didn't have a great start there. Back in 5th. He's going to have to charge at the front quick.
And this is the backyard, almost literally, to that Estenson Racing Yamaha team that Wells rides for. They would love to put it up on the podium tonight. Look at this. Gauthier doesn't care about the TT credentials of Janisch. He wants the win. He's going for the lead.
You can see how hard and rough the racetrack has gotten. These guys trying to get on the power, spinning the rear tires.
And we've got a new player up front, Cole Fredrickson out of Washington on the Honda. He's been quick in a couple TT appearances back in 2018, so he's in the mix, battling it out with Sipes. He's on his own Red Bull KTM, trying to get around him. Looks like Janisch stretching it out just a bit on Gauthier.
Jesse Janisch, known for that little front wheel tuck down the front straightaway over the jump, starting to gap Dalton Gauthier just a little bit.
On board with Sipes, and here's the pressure from Wells on that Yamaha down to the inside. Oh, and it worked. Not only did Wells make the move, but that contact actually pushed Sipes up the racetrack. Now Mikey Rush on the Honda there in the 15. I cannot believe how close these riders are.
You can just hear when they're on the brakes how hard this racetrack has gotten. The rear tire locking up, trying to get these bikes slowed down.
Wells and Sipes and Rush having a great battle. 3 different manufacturers there, the Yamaha, the KTM, the Honda. But as they fight each other, it is allowing Janish and Gauthier to get away. And Gauthier still trying to put a wheel in on Janish.
Dalton Gauthier couldn't find a way around Jesse Janish at Daytona. He wants to get a Super TT victory.
Whew, you love the style over the jumps there of Janish. You can tell he's very comfortable with the air time, but in the corners, every time he's on the high line, you see Gauthier trying to just shade a little further inside. Wells is making moves right now to try to take over third. So a couple of different battles to watch out here.
Down the front straightaway, Jesse Janish into turn 1. On board here with the Yamaha, Ryan Wells.
He made the move. That's Fredrickson in the 73, just put him behind him.
Ryan Wells knows he has to go. The 2 fastest guys here at Arizona are up front. He's got to chase him down.
And you heard the bike cutting out. That actually means they're hitting the rev limiter on that straightaway. Gearing is so critical in these races. You want to just touch it right at the end of the straight. It worked. They've obviously got the Yamaha working well. Did I see the number 1 of Bromley, who started 10th on the grid, working his way forward? I think he's in the mix now. So let's see if Bromley, who was on the podium the first 2 rounds this year, struggled a bit at our last race in Texas. Defending series champ, can he work his way forward? These 2 really opening it up. Janish and Gauthier. Wells lurking, but not quite in striking distance yet.
Jesse Janish looks like he's got a ton of horsepower down that back straightaway. Opens up another 2 bike length gap.
Janish doing all his off-season training down in Texas. Really lost a lot of weight, getting in shape back to this battle. Fredrickson with a ton of pressure. Rush, Sipes, Bromley, all over him. It's for 4th. This is what Bromley does. Even when the night starts badly, he can work his way forward on that number 1 and try to make up ground, but he'll have to get around Sipes. Meanwhile, Janish trying to get away from Gauthier. The finish coming up next. Battle is on here, American Flat Track. It's the Law Tigers Arizona Super TT. The 132 of Jesse Janish leading. Dalton Gauthier has been shadowing him the whole way.
Really looking at these riding styles, Jesse Janish likes to throw it in the corner a little bit. Dalton Gauthier kind of rides the bike straighter, trying to get that bike squared off, get the drive off the corner.
And Ryan Wells has joined the party. So that Estenson Yamaha team was hoping that all the work they put in here in Arizona, these are the conditions that I would imagine they're a little bit more used to because the team is based out of here. It has paid off. He's in third and starting to stalk the lead duo. That's Janish and Gauthier. But time's starting to run out. We're about to hit lap 13 of 15 we just did. Wow, they've broken away from everyone else. Mikey Rush and Dan Bromley having a duel. They pulled away from Sipes and Fredrickson, but this is a great battle.
Dan Bromley started 10th, up to 5th, looking around Mikey Rush for 4th here, into turn 2. Can he get him? Not quite.
Doing everything he can. Now Rush, he's a genuine title threat, and Bromley knows it. Rush finished 2nd at our last race in Texas. So Bromley wants to repeat as champ. He knows the guys he's got to try to pick off, but cannot figure out a way around the Richie Morris Racing Honda. Entering the corner a little bit high, can't get back underneath.
Trying to get that drive off the corner here down the front straightaway. 2 to go. Dan Bromley looking under Mikey Rush. Still can't get it done.
But they are really sending it hard in the entrance to those corners. And Sipes is still back there. If either of these 2 make a mistake, to put him back into the number 4 position. Great racing here at the Super TT in Arizona. And meanwhile, Gauthier going to try to make a run in the latter laps on your race leader, Jesse Janish. Bromley, this is tremendous pressure being applied. Ooh, a little mistake from Rush, but he doesn't lose any ground. And there's the white flag out. Look at this. Gauthier right there.
Jesse Janish got about a 4 bike length lead. Looking strong, a little look over his shoulder. The question is he gonna be calm and cautious, or is he gonna keep attacking?
And by the way, Sipes in 6 has just crashed out of this race. I think he's okay, but a great run is not going to show in the results.
Dalton's there. He has run down Jesse Janish. 1 corner to go. Can he find a way by? Rolls into turn 4 here. Gonna try to square him off.
Oh, it's a battle right down the line. Checker flag coming out, and Janish, under tremendous fire from Gauthier, holds on. And there is Ryan Wells finishing up in third. I saw Ryan Sipes down there. Like we said, he's okay, though. And there it is. Janish now 2 victories on the season. Gauthier continues his strong early season run of the points with second. And that podium's got to feel like a win for Wells. There you see Sipes 17th after the crash. There's the entire field. Let's send it down to Kristen. TT Specialist wins again.
Jesse Janis taking his second TT win of the season. Jesse, a big night for you. In that final lap, Dalton was applying so much pressure in turn 4 as you approached that checkered flag. Were you aware that he was making a run on you in the final lap?
Oh yeah. I was just trying to be really cautious out there. Man, this is like such a team win. The Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas team is it's unbelievable. It's a family over there, and it's great to get my second win already. 2 for 2 on the TTs. Man, Dalton was flying. Wells was flying earlier. I knew it was going to be a struggle, and I'm fortunate that I got the start.
All right, you see the point standings. Look, Ryan Wells now breaks the top 10 because he got the podium. Said by the end of the year he thinks he'll be winning races. Maybe this is the start. Let's send it down to Kristen with third place.
I really thought I could win today, and I even feeling greedy right now, getting a third. It's definitely a huge step in the season we've had so far, but got one bad start tonight, and unfortunately it was the most important one, and I rode my butt off trying to catch those guys, and can't thank my mechanic, Nick Daniels, and the whole Estenson Racing team enough. They've been nothing but supportive. It's been rough 4 weeks, so definitely paid off this weekend.
Estenson Yamaha's got some champagne at their home race, and shout out to Gauthier, who continues to be strong no matter what type of track we go to this year. We're gonna have to try to run him down in points. Although they couldn't run down Janish in the race, who's got the victory. He's gonna celebrate it. We're gonna transition to our Twins division. Could Yamaha get a breakthrough victory in that class? JD Beach would like to make it happen. We'll talk to him next. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle. Be legendary. By Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. The Musco lights are on, and it's time for the main event in the AFT Twins class at the Law Tigers Arizona Super TT. Earlier, Kristen Beat caught up with one of the people who made this race happen.
Thanks, Jason. I've got Ari Levenbaum, the entitlement sponsor of this event. Now, Ari, you not only sponsor teams, you sponsor riders. What drew you to the American Flat Track Series?
Well, about 7 or 8 years ago, I had a couple of friends of mine who weren't friends at the time, and they came up to me at another race, a sport bike race, and said, hey, we've got this opportunity to sponsor this race we're putting on in Pomona. And I'm like, what's it all about? And like, well, it's flat track. And I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know the details. Long story short, we got together, we became friends, we ended up sponsoring Pomona for several years, and I fell in love with the sport, the people, the series, just everything about it, and it's really grown since then into a multi-state, multi-race sponsorship, as well as sponsoring a number of different racers and a number of different venues.
We're racing this weekend in your home state, in your hometown. Your prerogative was to bring good racing to Chandler, Arizona. How special is this night and this day for you?
Oh, it is so very, very special. You know, this is where we're based. We've been around for 17 years. You know, to bring a race of this stature, Super TT, to this venue, it's incredible. When this was presented to us, this opportunity to do a Super TT race with turns and jumps, it was an opportunity we couldn't turn down. We just love everything about racing, and it's going to be something very special that people have not seen yet, and we're just so excited to be the title sponsor.
Well, the 2019 season began. There was so much hype on the road racer, JD Beach, and the number 95, very capable in flat track, going to start the entire season with us. Until this, he did not qualify for the main event at Daytona due to an unforced error. He's trying to bounce back tonight.
JD Beach here. I'm from Philpott, Kentucky. I ride the number 95 Estenson Racing Monster Energy Yamaha MT-07. Yes, I've been racing for 24 years. I've been going since before I could walk, really. I don't like to do one thing. I'm a person that never likes to stop. I actually race American flat track and street bikes in Moto America. I've won 2 championships in the 600 class, and also won the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup in 2008. flat track as a sport, I mean, it's crazy because it's fast and it's close racing, and we can go to tracks where you're just wide open on the edge, and then you can go to a track where who's ever off the gas the most wins. I mean, so it's a sport that takes a lot of skill, a lot of patience, but then you also have to be able to turn the brain off and just go for it. When it comes to getting on track, it's something that I like to kind of stay calm and like kind of joke around and have fun before I go out, but then once the shield goes down, it's 100% racing, and for me it's kind of important to have the yin and yang, kind of like having fun back in the pits, but when I'm on the track, it's all racing. With this team, it's great. It's a team that's really taken the next step in flat track. And I mean, we've got a semi truck, we got this huge pit area, and it's great to see these teams growing and getting bigger. With these bikes, the Yamaha MT-07, for us, they're brand new bikes, brand new frames, so we're definitely out here to win, but the stage that we're in now is developing the bike. The look of these things is badass. To race a bike that looks this good is really cool. Racing a TT compared to other tracks that we race at, it's a lot of fun for me, and it kind of works better just because we get to jump the bikes, we get to turn right, we get to use the front brake, and that's something that I work on a lot at home, so I think for me it's good. My favorite part is to win. That's why you come to the track, is to win. The goal for this year is to win some races, but to make the bike good too.
And JD is still competing full-time in road racing this year, so a lot of versatility.
Yes, multi-discipline rider, impressive, racing in both series. But tonight, trying to make up for what happened to Daytona. He's been strong. This could be the night that he goes out there and gets his first career win in the Twins class.
And again, it is the home race for that Estenson Yamaha team, so it would be no better place to do it for JD. Let's send it to Kristen with Dunlop Tire Talk.
Thanks, Jason. Tonight, the Dunlop tire of choice is the R5 Soft. Here's why. On this track, there's essentially no wear, so they're going with the R5 because they really want to hook up and have good grip as they progress in this race. The R5 is the Dunlop tire of choice for tonight.
Oh, this is going to be awesome. The Super TT, the first time we've ever had a racetrack like this, and we're bringing the big bikes out. The AFT Twins main event is next. We are set for the main event, the Law Tigers Arizona Super TT. Stands are packed, riders are ready. Let's send it to Kristen one last time.
JD Beach on the Estenson Racing Yamaha should be a top performer tonight given his road racing experience, but will his bike setup support his needs here? That's been the question since Daytona. While other teams have years of R&D, the Estenson Racing Yamaha MT-07 DT is still in development. JD said the chassis, the suspension, the motor, it's all close but not quite what they've needed. JD Beach tallied his first top 10 of the season last week in Texas though, and just a moment ago he said, "I'm just happy I made the main. I'm focused on missing the broken parts of the groove and staying in front of the field." JD Beach looks to have a few variables in his favor that could help him begin to climb back into the hunt. That's a rider I am keeping my eye on tonight. Also to note, Ryan Wells, his teammate on the Estenson Racing Yamaha in the singles class, finished on the podium as well.
There's Henry Wiles. Always have to watch him when you're racing at a TT. He's one of the best at it. And you have to watch Jared Mees regardless of what racetrack we are at, because he's the best of the business. That's why he's your defending series champ. Briar Bauman, your series points leader, won the TT at Daytona to start the year. Loaded field and a racetrack we've never visited before, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, those top four guys are going to be strong. I think between all four of them, those are what's going to dominate for the win.
Yeah, and they were 1-2 in the pair of semis, so it'll be awesome to bring them together for the first ever Super TT here in Arizona. And Beach, a great jump on the 95. Let's see if Bauman can beat him. Yes, he can. So Bauman with a hole shot. Beach up to second. Oh, and several riders down off the start.
Huge wreck in the background there.
That is Colby Carlisle. He's jumping up to the Twins class for the first time this year, down. Oh.
Carlisle clips a rear tire, goes down in front of the field, causes a huge pileup after that.
James Monaco and Robert Pierce on the 27 also down. I think everybody's okay despite Carlisle getting run over there. Been a rough go for Carlisle. Has shown speed since jumping on the Twin, but he has had all sorts of bad luck. These guys, what we hear, are okay, but we will have to restart the race anyway. We've got to dry the track up as well. Wow, there's Carlisle's machine. And Monaco's also. And look at this, Henry Wiles not involved with the crash. He has a flat tire. So this is a huge shakeup for one of the favorites in the race. I don't think he's going to be able to get back in, AJ.
Not from the looks of it there. This is just going to be, to his championship, do so much damage.
Yeah, and he was right there in the points last year and was pretty strong to start this season, so that is a big hole for him. And another great jump on the outside by the 14 on the restart. Briar Bauman in the lead. Jeffrey Carver now second on the 23 ahead of Beach.
Jared Mees in fourth. Briar Bauman shot out of a cannon on that start.
And replicated it both times. Look at Beach, he is not messing around, trying to get around Carver for the number 2 spot, the 95 and the 23.
Briar Bauman already a 4 bike length lead over Jeffrey Carver.
Carver and Beach, Mees, that battle second, third, fourth, that could change everything. Which one of them has the speed to try to keep Briar Bauman in sight? Because he's already making a run for it in the Factory Indian.
JD Beach, if he wants a chance to win this race, he has to go now. He has to get around Jeffrey Carver.
Whoa, no,
and he makes a
Mees.
mistake.
Right there, and that's what champions do. Jared Mees takes advantage of a brief opening, so Beach could not get to second, and he's now pushed to fourth, but he's not giving up.
On board here with Jared Mees on the SNS on board. He's by Jeffrey Carver for second. JD Beach around Jeffrey Carver for third.
Beach just airing out that jump on the infield, trying to make a move around the outside, and it worked. That was quick. Gets Mees back just one lap later.
JD Beach knew after that small mistake in turn 1, he had to get it back quick.
This is what all the hype has been on JD Beach, a road racing champion, but he's not just coming over here to get some experience in flat track. He is expected to be fast enough to win races. He had the speed in Daytona, was beset with a crash in qualifying.
Briar Bauman has already checked out. JD Beach is gonna have to do something special here to try to run him down.
Jiggy Dog, they call JD, and he is starting to stretch it out just a little on Mees, which is no easy feat. Carver still solid in the number 4 position. Critical juncture. Can Mees hitch a ride with Beach and try to go after Bauman? Or is Mees about to get into a battle for third with Carver and Bronson Bauman? Also, another strong TT rider, the 5 of Jake Johnson, another Yamaha, is in the picture as well.
This is important right here for JD Beach. He's cleared Jared Mees, got enough gap that he doesn't have to look behind him. He has to focus forward and go chase down Briar Bauman.
And we're on board with Beach right now. That's the MT-07 DT. That's what they call the Dirt Track Racing Edition. That is a beautiful motorcycle. Looks great and performing pretty strong right now. And as we've said over and over tonight, Estenson Yamaha, the shop for this team, just a few miles away from this track. So it's all hands on deck to at least put that bike on the podium, if not into victory lane. Sammy Halbert on the factory Harley. Remember, he went down in qualifying, had to use a provisional to get into the main. Putting pressure on Kolkman now, so a good ride for Sammy on the Harley. He's got his teammate right behind him, Vanderkoy. Those Harleys much improved in 2019.
This is important for Sammy Halbert. He's been consistent, but hasn't been too strong. Needs a good result here.
And then you see the 5 of Johnson. He is trying to put a move on Bronson Bauman. Meanwhile, up front, Briar Bauman, and there's the gap. You can see that Beach is riding very hard there in second, but not able to make much of a dent so far in the gap. On board with Mees. Let's see how the champion plays it. Is he going to go back after Beach? Or is he riding for points tonight on a very tough racetrack? Let's send it down to Kristen.
When I spoke with Jared Mees after practice, he had a wet towel over his head. He said it's busy. There's a lot going on out there. He is focused on staying relaxed and on top of it. That's his strategy for tonight.
So Mees won our last race in Texas, and we thought maybe a win streak would begin, but this Super TT has clearly worked well for both Bauman and Beach.
I love that Indian on board there. You can see the eyes looking through the corners. You had to hear the throttle control off these corners. There's so much horsepower in these bikes, it's easy to spin the rear tire.
And that is something that those Indian motorcycles really do well. They hook up. Everyone wondering how would the Yamaha perform in these types of conditions? Very well, with Beach splitting the 2 Indians right now. About a 3-second lead for Bauman, but it's enough where Beach can see him in some of the larger sections.
He can, but every lap right now, Briar Bauman is pulling out a couple of tenths of a lap. JD Beach is gonna have to start searching for lines here, find something different, see if he can start just kind of cut into that gap little by little.
And Bauman has been so strong this year. Did a lot of training with the very famous motocross trainer Alden Baker, along with his girlfriend Shayna Texter, who's a contender in the singles class. Got the factory Indian ride. Could be pressure for a lot of people, but he has responded to it well. Won the opener, podium in the last 2 races. Back up front, looking for victory number 2 tonight. But JD Beach is not going to make it easy, and you can never count out Mies when he's running the top 3. He can launch a challenge down the stretch, but right now, Briar Bauman reestablishing his championship credentials. A new racetrack. He's out front. Can he hold off Beach and Mies? Stretch run coming next. Don't go anywhere. Briar Bauman here has been dominating this Law Tiger Arizona Super TT, but JD Beach starting to close. Down to 2 seconds, a gap that was 3, so it is not over. The 95 making a charge.
JD Beach starting to stalk Briar Bauman here on the riding with Briar Bauman on the Indian motorcycle. You can see it. JD Beach closing each corner, getting a little bit closer.
So we're gonna have a race down the stretch, only 6 laps to go. That's not a lot of time to work with, but Beach is making up ground in a hurry. He has shed the pressure from the 3rd place rider, Jared Mies, and it is getting close. Another lap down. The gap shorter than ever. It looks pretty good if you see the onboard, but we'll show you the interval here. Look at that, it's basically a third of what it once was.
Is Briar Bauman just being cautious, knowing he's got a big lead, just making sure he makes no mistakes? Or has JD Beach just turned up the wick so much that Briar Bauman has no answer for it?
And by the way, I'm not sure how well Bauman can track his progress. They don't have radio communication or anything like that, so he's been riding by himself the entire time. Little mistake out of that corner. Maybe with his own errors, he might figure someone's closing, but it's kind of a guessing game right now. Maybe a sneak attack from JD Beach down the stretch, and it's still 5 to go. That is plenty of time for Beach to make up the gap that you see now.
Briar Bauman may not have any radio communication, but he can look over his shoulder and see JD Beach is coming.
He's definitely close enough to see him now, and now the question is, how will he respond under pressure and dealing with a little bit of lap traffic? I cannot believe how much ground Beach has made up. He's right there.
JD Beach can see it now. He's there. He's on the rear tire of Briar Bauman. He knows the potential to win his first career American flat track event is here. 4 to go.
He's had a second, he's had a third. He's never won one of these, as you say. And to do it in just round 4 of his first full season with us would be mightily impressive. As for Bauman, he's your championship leader. He knows he has to fight for every position this year if he wants to hold off the likes of Jared Mies to win this championship. So even if Beach gets to him, you know the 14 is gonna fight hard. There is Bauman's mom. She is very nervous because the lead is pretty much gone now. Deal with some traffic too, AJ. How is Beach going to play it?
JD Beach right now getting great drives off each corner. We got Jared Vanderkoy letting him down on the inside. Smart move there. Good clean racing from Jared to let the leaders go by. 2 to go. We got JD Beach closing the gap. I feel like the Jaws theme is starting.
Yeah, the shark is in the water. The Arizona Super TT. We've never had a TT track this big, this fast. Nothing quite like it. And we don't know how it's going to turn out still. The gap is down to basically 1 bike length now as the 95 of Beach puts a hard press on Bauman, but there is not much time. The white flag will be out soon.
You can see Bauman starting to move around a lot more off these corners. 2 to go, cross the start-finish line.
All right, 2 laps left for Beach. He's gonna start on the outside of this corner and try to get underneath.
Oh, it gets a great drive off this corner.
This could be the move right here. Down to the inside.
JD Beach sending it.
Oh, Bauman doing everything he can to beat him to the corner. He couldn't. JD Beach has seized the lead with a lap and a half to go, and what a gap he had to overcome to do it.
Does Briar Bauman have anything left on that bike?
What a performance from Beach. Champion in road racing and showing championship style form here in American flat track. They've got the white flag. Bauman's not giving up.
From 3 seconds down to leading this race with 1 to go. Can JD Beach put the best lap of his life in to win his first event?
Yamaha has not won a race in the AFT Twins class since Peoria in 1981. And all season long, as they put this Estenson Yamaha team together with talent like Beach and Jake Johnson on board, we figured maybe this season could be the year they get one. But this is awfully early in the development process to deliver, but it looks like it's going to happen. JD Beach is about to become a winner in AFT by taking the Arizona Super TT. And the huge celebration begins. There's Tim Estenson, the team owner, and you can see how pumped up Jiggy Dog JD Beach is.
JD Beach, just raw emotion pouring out right now. Winner, first career AFT Twins main event.
And look at the congratulations coming from his competitors. JD is a really fun guy to hang out with. I'm sure they all would have liked to have won the race instead of him, but if you're not gonna win it, that's a guy they would all like to see go to victory lane, and he does it. Bauman and Mees, the Indians, second and third. And everyone involved in that crash off the start, Monaco, Pearson, Carlisle, banged up, but okay. Wiles disappointed with the flat tire. Let's go to the Motul move of the race. You know it's gonna be that pass for the lead.
JD Beach gets a great run off turn one, down the back straightaway, throws it in the corner. Briar Bauman throws it in with them. Can't get the traction down off the corner. JD Beach makes the pass, never looks back.
Incredible to overcome a 3-second gap. It looked like it was all Briar Bauman at one point, but JD never gave up, and he is still fist pumping, screaming. That's how much this one means to him. As he goes down to the victory area, there you can see Kristen Beat, and now he gets to greet his team. Let's send it down to Kristen.
JD, 1981 was the last time a Yamaha won a Grand National. Tonight marks your first American Flat Track professional win in the Twins class. That entire race, you waited, you were patient, you made the pass around Briar Bauman. What allowed you to make the pass, and where did you see an opening in his program where you were able to make it?
I don't know if I was waiting. I mean, I was pushing that whole damn race. But this has been a little, sorry. I mean, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I mean, it's awesome. And I mean, this bike was working good tonight, and we just kind of got off to a little bit of a bad start, and Briar got a gap on us, and we just kept pushing, kept fighting. And I mean, he just slipped up a little bit, and I had to make my move, and the last two laps I just tried to ride smooth, and God, this feels amazing. I think I gotta thank the whole Estenson Racing Monster team. I mean, we've been working hard, and I definitely let them down in Daytona, and I mean, this is awesome. And I want to dedicate this race to my friend Brad Baker. I mean, we've been friends since we were kids, and I wouldn't be the rider that I am without him. So yeah, I mean, I'm just pumped right now.
For you to take the win, not only at a TT, but at a TT in Estenson Racing's backyard, does that make it any more special for you?
I think this is perfect. I think that this was what was meant to happen for me, and God, man, I'm just so excited. This is awesome.
Well, that's what you want to see. You know how much it means to these riders, and he is not shy about it. A victory for the factory-supported Estenson Yamaha team. We'll be right back. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. Sunoco Go the Distance Award standings here in AFT. Briar Bauman has elapsed the most miles in practice qualifying and racing this year, so he leads in that category. Also leads the points, and he was leading this event, but he got tracked down by JD Beach. But as far as the standings goes, it's fine, because he beat Jared Mees, who's second. Brandon Robinson just inside the top 10 tonight. So everything except the race victory looked good for Briar. Let's send it to Kristen.
Briar, you led the majority of that race, and to give it up in the final few laps has to be disappointing.
Yeah, it's a huge bummer. I felt really good all day, had quite a bit of speed, and those last couple laps, it just started getting really, really greasy. Hats off to JD, though. I mean, he came from so far back and still caught me and passed me. So for second again, it's been like the fourth one this year. So hoping to get back to the top step eventually. The team's doing so well, and we're capitalizing on people's mistakes. So we're gonna keep chipping away at her and get ready for the miles.
Our next race will be a half mile. That's Southern California Fairgrounds in Paris, California. But what a race tonight.
Super cool racetrack. Historic night for AFT. Jesse Janish getting the win in the singles class, and JD Beach to run from 3 seconds down, run down Briar Bauman to get his first career win.
It's a Yamaha sweep, too, for AJ Allmendinger and Kristen Beat. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. Congrats to our winners.